They say life is full of surprises, but for Chiamaka, the biggest shocks of her life came on the night she should have been the happiest. What would you do if, on your wedding night, you discovered your husband was in love with another woman? Chiamaka had dreamt of her wedding day for years. Like many, she believed that when you give your heart to someone, it's forever. But little did she know, on the very night she said, I do, she would lose the man she loved to another woman. The city of Lagos was alive as always, its streets bustling with the rhythm of life. For Chiamaka, it felt like the entire city was celebrating with her. She was getting married to Adekunle, the man she believed was her soulmate. Their love story had begun 2 years ago when Adekunle first swept her off her feet with his charm and effortless confidence. Their engagement had been nothing short of magical. He proposed under the sparkling night sky at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city, and she felt like the luckiest woman alive. The ring he slipped onto her finger was a symbol of their unbreakable bond, a promise of forever. As the wedding day approached, Chiamaka was filled with joy. It was to be a grand event at one of Lagos's most luxurious hotels, with friends and family from all over Nigeria in attendance. She couldn't wait to marry Adekunle. The day itself was perfect. Chiamaka walked down the aisle in her beautiful white lace gown, her heart soaring with happiness. Adekunle, looking regal in his traditional Yoruba agbada, seemed to be the perfect groom. They exchanged vows under the bright Lagos sun, promising to love each other for better or for worse. But what Chiamaka didn't know was that her worse was just beginning. That night, after the wedding reception, Chiamaka and Adekunle made their way to their honeymoon suite. The city lights of Lagos flickered in the distance, but her mind was focused on the future, on the life she was about to start with the man she had vowed to love forever. But something felt different. As they entered the suite, Chiamaka noticed Adekunle was distant, distracted. He seemed preoccupied, barely looking at her as he sat on the couch, glued to his phone. At first, she thought it was just the exhaustion of the day. After all, weddings are overwhelming. But then came the knock on the door. It was a soft knock, barely audible, yet it pierced the silence like a blade. Confused, Chiamaka watched as Adekunle stood up and walked toward the door. He cracked it open just enough to exchange whispers with someone outside. And then the door opened wider and in stepped a woman, someone Chiamaka had never seen before. The woman, Efe, entered the room like she belonged there. She didn't speak, but the look on her face said everything. Chiamaka's heart sank as a wave of unease washed over her. What was going on? Why was this woman here on their wedding night? Adekunle's face was pale, his expression unreadable. Finally, he turned to Chiamaka and said words she would never forget. Chiamaka, I need to talk to her alone. Chiamaka's world came crashing down in an instant. Her mind raced as she tried to comprehend what Adekunle had just said. Alone, with another woman, on their wedding night? She stood frozen, her heart pounding, unable to believe what was happening. But the truth was right in front of her. She looked at Adekunle, pleading with her eyes for him to explain, but his silence was deafening. Summoning the strength she didn't know she had, Chiamaka demanded, Who is she, Adekunle? What is going on? Adekunle looked away, guilt written all over his face. He finally spoke, his voice low and filled with regret. Chiamaka, it's complicated. I didn't want to hurt you, but I love her. Chamaka felt as though the ground had opened beneath her feet. The words, I love her, echoed in her mind. How could he say this here, now? It was as if their entire relationship had been a lie. She wanted to scream, to cry, to throw something, but all she could do was stand there, stunned. Adekunle turned toward Ife, and Chiamaka saw it. The connection between them. The way he looked at Ife was the way he used to look at her. Suddenly it all made sense. The distance, the distractions, the late nights he claimed were work related. He had been in love with another woman all along. Tears filled Chiamaka's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not yet, not in front of them. She had to know more. How long has this been going on? She whispered, her voice barely holding back the hurt. Adekunle sighed deeply, avoiding her gaze. It's been months, Chiamaka. I didn't plan for this to happen, but it did. And now I can't pretend anymore. The truth hit Chiamaka like a slap in the face. Months. For months she had been planning their future together, while Adekunle had been planning something entirely different. In that moment, something inside Chiamaka shifted. The love she had for Adekunle, the trust she had placed in him, it all shattered, leaving behind a hollow emptiness. But amidst the heartbreak, a new feeling emerged: clarity. Chiamaka realized she had a choice. She could stay in that room begging for explanations and trying to hold on to something that was already broken, or she could walk away from the man who had betrayed her on the most important night of her life. Without another word, Chiamaka turned toward the door. She paused for a moment, her hand on the handle, and whispered, Goodbye, Adekunle. And just like that, she left. She stepped out of the honeymoon suite, out of the life she thought she was building, and into a new reality. The night air hit her face as she walked down the hotel hallway, her mind swelling with pain and disbelief, but also with a growing sense of strength. Chiamaka had lost her husband that night, but she had found something far more valuable: herself. The days that followed were a blow of tears, anger, and questions without answers. Chiamaka's family and friends surrounded her with love, but the pain was something only she could face. Lagos, with all its noise and chaos, felt quieter somehow, as if the city itself knew what she had been through. But time, as it often does, began to heal her. Slowly, Chiamaka started to rebuild her life. She focused on her career, pouring her energy into work, and rediscovered her passions, things she had once put aside for her relationship with Adekunle. And then one day, when she least expected it, she met Emeka. He was kind, gentle, and most importantly, honest. There were no secrets between them, no lies, no other women in the background. Emeka treated her with the respect and love she had always deserved, but had never truly received. With Emeka, Chiamaka found herself again, not the broken woman she had become after Adekunle's betrayal, but the strong, independent woman she had always been. Months later, as the sun set over the Lagos skyline, Chiamaka and Emeka walked hand in hand along the beach. The waves crashed softly against the shore, a peaceful reminder of life's constants, ebb and flow. As they stood watching the horizon, Emeka turned to her, his eyes filled with love. Chiamaka, he said softly, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You are the strongest woman I know, and I would be honored if you would be my wife. Tears filled Chiamaka's eyes once more, but this time they were tears of joy. She had found her way back to happiness. She had found a love built on truth and respect. And so, with her heart full, she smiled and said, Yes. Life has a way of teaching us lessons when we least expect it. For Chimaka, that lesson came through betrayal, but it also brought her the gift of self discovery. The story reminds us that no matter how deep the pain, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. True love is built on honesty and trust, and when one door closes, another opens, leading to new beginnings and even greater happiness. Thank you for joining us in Chiamaka's journey. Her story shows that even in the darkest times, there is hope, and that sometimes the hardest experiences lead to the greatest strength. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you are not alone. Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible tales of resilience and life lessons. Remember, no matter what happens, you are worthy of love and respect. Until next time, take care and we'll see you in the next story.